Welcome. In this video, we are going to start looking at translating expressions and equations. So really what we're looking at is taking words, English, and putting it into an equation, which is a huge skill for math in general, particularly algebra. So if we are looking at these, we're going to first just touch over some important keywords that we're looking for. These aren't set in stone, but they're good hints to what we're looking at. So addition, keys that you're going to use addition, more than, add, sum, increase by, plus. Some of these that we want to take particular note of is more than. We also have to think, what are we doing more than? So anytime you see more than, leave a space and then however much more than. So if it's 7 more than, we're adding 7 to something. So we have to know what that something is first. This is similar with subtraction. When we have less than, it's less than something. So leave a space, we're less than something. We're taking our number away from something. So it's 4 less than something. It's something minus 4. Okay, so those two, make sure you're leaving space for what is it more than, what is it less than, and doing that after the fact. Okay, typically addition and subtraction happen very last in our order of operations. So if you see sum or difference, that's a good hint that we're going to want to do that thing first. We want to find the sum, find the difference before we do something else. Sometimes you'll need those parentheses, not always. It's a good habit to get into putting them there, even if you don't need them, they'll be helpful. So the other subtraction words, subtract, difference, decreased by, minus, increased by, these two as well. If it's increased by or decreased by, that's also a good hint that it's decreased by something. We're going to put that at the end. Something is decreased by a value. Something is increased by a value, to keep those in mind. Okay, multiplication, obviously multiply. Product is the answer to that multiplication problem. So I want to make sure we do that product first. Most of the time that's not an issue because we're going to multiply before we add or subtract. But if you do have any exponents involved, that product should also go in parentheses. Of is sometimes a multiplication word. Times, twice is specific. It's times 2. Tripled, times 3, those types of words. Division, divide, quotient, fraction, half is divide by 2. Those are things that we want to include. Okay, so let's practice a few of these. So if we have 10 is 6 less than a number. Is this also a very important one? Is usually an equal to, but we also want to make sure that we're using our logic and reasoning as we're thinking through these. So 10 is 6 less than. So this is the one where we want to kind of think backwards. It's 6 less than. I'm taking 6 away from something. What am I taking 6 away from? A number. Oh, we don't know what that number is, so let's use a variable. Let's call it y. Okay, so my number here is y. So 10 is 6 less than a number. If you're not sure if you did it correctly, we're pretty good at figuring out a value. So 10 is 6 less than what? 6 less than 16 is 16 minus 6, 10. Yeah, that works out well. Okay. 10 plus 4 times a number is 14. So 10 plus, so we're adding 4 times a number. So 4 times q, make our number here q, is 14. That one's a nice one. It just reads left to right. 10 plus 4 times the number is 14. The sum of, so we're thinking, what are we adding? We're adding 2 things. The quotient of 12 and negative 3. So 12 and negative 3 we're dividing, quotient. And so that's what else we're adding, the square root of 25. Okay, think about your order of operations. Okay, sum is going to come after we do the quotient, after we do the square root, so we don't have to do anything different there to say, do this first, do this first. You can put parentheses around them, but it's not going to matter. And we're not doing anything to the sum. So I know some, we said use parentheses, but we're not doing anything after that. So you can have them there. You don't need to have them there. The difference, so we're subtracting of y and the product of 4n y over 2. So they're subtracting y and the product, so we're multiplying 4 times y over 2. Okay, again, think about your order of operations. We want to subtract the product. Well, we would do this multiplication first, so that's okay. If you put parentheses here, it's not wrong. Don't need them, but it's not wrong. 5 times a number less 10. Okay, this one's a little different. It's not less than, it's just less 10. So we're taking away 10 from something. 5 times a number. Let's use X for our number. Less 10. 6 more than the quotient of 10, 18, and a number. So quotient, so 6 more than, we're adding 6 to something. What are we adding 6 to? The quotient, so we're dividing, of 18 and a number. We'll make our number P here. And finally, 5 less than 2 times a number n is equal to the sum of -2 and n. That's a lot. 5 less than, so we're taking away 5 from something. 5 less than what? 2 times the number n, so 2n, taking away 5 from 2n, is equal to the sum, so we're adding, what are we adding? -2 and n. 5 less than 2 times the number is equal to the sum of -2 and n. Okay, that is all we have for today. This practice is really important, so make sure you're decoding those sentences, seeing what those values mean, and making sure that they make sense. Thank you so much for watching.